This week on What in the World is Going On, can the Temple Mount be a trading card to entice the Saudis? So stay tuned, friends. The Jerusalem Post published a very interesting article on August 20th of this year, right after the historic peace deal with the United Arab Emirates, which we talked about last week. But in this article, the Jerusalem Post posed the question, can the Temple Mount be a trading card to entice the Saudis? Of course, friends, presently, even though Israel has sovereignty over the Temple Mount, the custodianship lies with the Jordanian Waif, which Israel extended to them after the Six-Day War. Interestingly enough, though, the Hashemite dynasty, which now rules Jordan, at one time also had custodianship of the sacred mosque, also known as the Grand Mosque in Mecca, and the Mosque of the Prophet in Medina. And the Jerusalem Post, publishing this fact, paints a picture of the Saudis and the possibility of normalizing relations with Israel by extending the Saudis' custodianship to the Temple Mount. Now, Saudi's King Solomon previously stated that he would not normalize relations with Israel until a peace treaty is reached with Israel and the Palestinians. His son, however, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, seems more favorable towards Israel. And in the article, the Jerusalem Post quotes former U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Martin Indyk, speculating in an imaginary situation where he says, what would it take for Mohammed bin Salman to go to his father and say, we should recognize Israel and have an open relationship like with the UAE? I would imagine he would go to his father and say, I got you Jerusalem, Dad. Your forefathers kicked the Hashemites out of the mosques of Mecca and Medina. MBS would tell his father he would work with Jared Kushner to get you control of the third holiest mosque and will kick the Hashemites out of there as well. Of course, this wouldn't sit very well with the Jordanians. But then again, friends, if some serious money is thrown at them, well, then who knows? After all, according to the Jerusalem Post, Donald Trump didn't even pause when asked by a reporter in Washington if Saudi Arabia would follow the United Arab Emirates peace deal. And also, as Secretary of State Mike Pompeo continues with his Middle East tour, who knows what will come out of this? But there seems to be a new Arab Spring developing, as some have called it, only this time with a positive outcome. And there seems to be a common denominator driving it all, namely Iran, and their ambitions to possess nuclear weapons. And so the fear of the Arab countries towards Iran seems to be outweighing their hatred towards Israel. And really, none of these peace attempts, friends, comes at any surprise, for God said in Ezekiel 5:5 that Jerusalem has he set in the midst of the nations that are round about her. And so, friends, that's all the time we have for today, but we're going to continue this discussion next week, and we're going to be looking at a very special coin connected with the Temple Mount and this possible scenario for a peace deal with the Saudis. And so until next time, this has been What in the World is Going On with the Friends of Israel Gospel Ministry.